In this video, we're going to be talking about home defense and shotguns, and we're going to be bringing the Mossberg 590 Shockwave into the conversation. Stick around. Thanks for dropping in, my friend, and welcome to another episode of Self-Defense Sunday. I hope you find this information helpful. Let's get rolling. I want to say two things right off the bat. Number one, I'm not trying to sell you the 590 Shockwave. And number two, I'm not even reviewing the 590 Shockwave. I bought it out of mere curiosity. I've gone on to discover that there is one video after the next on this here on YouTube. The primary purpose of this video is to discuss something that several people have said in the comments section in past videos that I have made about shotguns and home defense. I know the Mossberg 590 Shockwave is not considered a shotgun if you really dig into it, but the bottom line is it does what a shotgun can do. I have always been one that believes, as far as firearms are concerned, that the shotgun is the best for home defense, and there's two primary reasons that I say that. Number one, you're less likely to miss the assailant. And number two, you don't have to worry about shooting into your neighbor's house as much. Now look, I'm not telling you what to do. Everybody lives in different places. They live in different scenarios, different situations. Just as for me in my house, we prefer the shotgun as our primary means of home defense when we need something heavy. Something that I've heard people say in the comments is that I don't want to use a shotgun. It's too long. I don't want to have to work with that in close quarters. And I'm like, you do know they make shorter versions that are legal to get your hands on, right? For example, you may be standing in tight quarters just like this right here, and the shorter your weapon is, the better off you are. My most recent shotgun review per se was the Winchester XSP. I was quite fond of it, and it's a lot more compact. It's got an 18-inch barrel where this has a 14-inch barrel. A lot of people are not necessarily fond of the bird's head grip, although it does allow it to be quite compact. I prefer this to a pistol grip per se. This does not have to be shot off the hip. You can aim it this way. You can pull it up and aim it this way. It's going to kick back. You don't want to put it right up against your face, obviously, but you can hold it up and get a clear sight on what you're aiming at. Shooting from the hip might be relevant, if the target's very close and you're not aiming for something smaller. But typically you can hold it up this way. Now, I've seen videos of people shooting this thing all kinds of ways, one-handed, behind the back, just to be funny. I get it. But, typically you're here. And this does allow you to be in a very compact type of stance. You're not, holding something that's reaching way out there. It does allow you to maneuver in tight spaces. I'm not going to go deep into the specifications of the 590 Shockwave because that's not the context of this video. If you want to dive into the specifications, just go out and do a Google search, Mossberg 590 Shockwave, and you can get a deep dive of the specifications there, and probably a lot more clear than I could cover in this video. It's got a 5+1 capacity, and it's got this strap here to keep your hand in place, being that it's a short barrel, so that you don't accidentally slip off the end and shoot your own hand. So it keeps your hand in place. I think that's a good feature. Again, it's just a very compact option. I will let you get a look at this right here. Now to the fun part. Let's take a few shots with this. I just want to get a feel for it. So what you have there was three different kinds of shots, two of which I consider a partial connection. The first one was partial, the second was dead on, and the third I thought was a miss, but I did catch the very top of this container here. It's very different shooting with this one. I've always shot with a shoulder stock, and I do a lot better with one, so this was quite the different experience. Nevertheless, I was kind of shooting a little ways off from your typical home defense scenario. It's a little harder to dial it in with these, and this has a massive kick. And I mean dialing in at a distance. I was holding it like this right here so that it could have some give. You wouldn't want to put it right against your face. This little thing could pop you in the mouth. All kinds of things can go wrong. I saw a couple of people shooting this off the face, and it's not for me. But the one thing that can throw you off sometimes is you're looking at your bead and you can get tilted this way and shoot above the target versus remembering to get on top of the target this way. it'll still kick back like this, but be prepared for some kick. And I was shooting with buckshot as well. A lot of your videos about the Shockwave on YouTube have a very similar title. Is the 590 Shockwave worth it? Is the Shockwave any good? To get back to the original intended purpose of this video, I would say yes, the Shockwave is good and the Shockwave is worth it for anybody looking to find the shortest legal option out there. For those who are wondering, this is one of those where you might want to check your state laws. I know some of you are thinking, man, forget state laws. I don't abide by any of that stuff. I totally get that. But for those of you who are concerned, you may want to check yours concerning the Shockwave. But this is a legit firearm. Here's what it all comes down to. There are an array of tactical style shotguns to choose from that are still compact, that have a stock. This is just for those looking for the shortest thing out there. I myself prefer a stock. A while back when I was testing the Winchester, I was much more on the target. I was much more comfortable. It was just easier to shoot. You may find it to be a humbling experience out on the range when you get out and shoot something like this for the first time. Again, I've never ever shot this type of firearm, and it was different. And I'm gonna need some work myself. I'm gonna get out there and put a little bit more mileage in and get a better feel for it, because I do like it. I like a stock better, but I wanna be good with this as well. And I do love how you can operate in some really tight quarters with something like this. There's not many things in life more important than being able to protect your loved ones from the evil in this world. And it's my hope that no matter what you choose, I hope it will be something that you are efficient with, comfortable using, and something that will be effective in a time of need, because a lot of people choose options for home defense that I don't believe would be effective if it got really bad. But it's hard to make blanket statements about what's right and what's not right for someone, because so many scenarios are different and people have different convictions. But you got to understand, if somebody's going to come into your home where your spouse and your children are, that's a pretty serious thing, and it should not be dealt with lightly. Again, this wasn't me selling you on this, and it wasn't even really a review. It's just my opinion of it based on the context of those who are looking for a compact option for close quarters. And I think the Mossberg 590 Shockwave is pretty dang cool, and I'm glad I picked one up. You will see more content with this. I want to get back out on a bigger range, and I want to set up some bigger targets. I want to invest in some things and get out there and knock those things down, and be looking for that in the future, because I'm not done playing with the Shockwave. What do you think about the Shockwave? Do you have this? Have you watched other reviews on it? I'd love to hear your opinion on it. It won't offend me at all, because I know that this is one of those firearms that brings about many different opinions. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.